So hey guys, welcome to another video, and today I want to talk about the gear changes in 6.2 because when the Def water cooler came out, the article, I've read it and I was sitting down, I was like, what? Why? Why is this happening? Why are you doing this, Blizzard? You are creating a controversy. Do you not know that this is a bad thing? That you are doing a bad thing that doesn't make sense? So I waited for a day and I thought about it and I talked to my guildmates, and the responses from my guildmates were pretty universal. What? Why are they doing this? This is bad. So I decided to make a video today, and I've read it again and I'm still sitting here going, what? Why? I do not understand. So what's going on in 6.2 is, first of all, they are tweaking the personal loot to give out more loot, because sometimes it would give out fewer items than the group loot, so they are fixing that. And you can also see what other people are getting from the personal loot. Why? I don't know, but it's there. Now the big thing is the change to secondary stats and the item level ramp up, as they are calling it in the Hellfire Citadel. So currently with secondary stats we have sort of 50-50 on an item. When you get an item, it will sort of have 50-50 of the secondary stats, so it will have 45 haste and 55 mastery, I'll just say. Alright, it's around 50-50. They want to change that. And I read the article about 5 or 6 times. I still don't know how they're gonna do it. It was very vague. Because I don't know if it's gonna be like, oh yeah, so you have 3 pieces of leather gloves that have haste and mastery for some reason. One of them has 50 mastery and 50 haste. One of them has 25 mastery and 75 haste. And one of them has 75 mastery and 25 haste. Which just doesn't make sense, let's be honest. Now the alternatives we have, or I thought about, are you will have one piece of leather gloves that will have haste and mastery, and it just has more mastery. Deal with it. Which isn't much better if you don't want more mastery, like a resto druid for instance. And the third thing I thought about is you're gonna get your leather gloves with haste and mastery, but they can either have 50 mastery, 50 haste, 25 mastery and 75 haste, or 25 haste and 75 mastery, which is even worse. So no matter what they do, it's gonna be worse than what we have now, which is why I don't understand why this is happening. And the second thing is the item level ramp up in the Hellfire Citadel. Now what's gonna happen is the first 4 bosses, let's just say, will drop item level 705. The 4 bosses after that will drop 710, and it's gonna go up, and Archimond is gonna have the highest item level drops. At first I was like, that sounds like a good idea. Wait, this doesn't work. The only way this would work and be fair and balanced for all specs and classes is if boss 1 would drop boots for all classes, so cloth, leather, mail and plate. Boss 2 would only drop chest pieces. Boss 3 will drop pantaloons. Boss 4 will drop trinkets. If you do it any other way, it's not gonna be fair, it's not gonna work, people are gonna be pissed, and unfortunately I think Blizzard will half-ass it. Why? Look at Blackrock Foundry. If you don't know, hunter weapons drop from the Blast Furnace and the Iron Maidens. The last 2 bosses you do before you do Blackhand. So if you are progressing Mythic Foundry, your hunters will use heroic weapons up until the final 3 bosses. And no other class has a problem like this. Gruul drops a staff that's actually best in slot for instance, me as a resto druid. He also drops a one-handed weapon. Chromog drops a one-handed weapon and a shield. Flamebender drops a two-handed weapon. Just, your hunters are screwed. Because if you're 7 out of 10 mythic, your hunters are still using heroic weapons. I don't know who did the loot distribution, but he's a moron. Why would you not put a hunter weapon earlier in the raid? And that's exactly why I'm scared they're gonna half-ass it in the Citadel, and they're just gonna distribute loot willy-nilly. And I would like to point at the dungeon journal on the PTR, because the last time I was on the PTR, I was looking at the drops from the Citadel. And Archimond, who drops the highest item level, had a two-handed sword drop, and I do believe he had a staff, but I'm pretty sure he did not have a hunter weapon, which means that even if you clear heroic citadel many times and everyone's in their besting slot, your warriors, your death knights, your retribution paladins will have higher item level weapons than your hunters. And even if they do change it, like, oh, Blizzard's gonna change it, it's just PTR, how did it make off the drawing board? How? This really feels like it got changed for the sake of being changed. No real reason behind it, they're just making it worse. And that is quite an accomplishment with the state of gear nowadays. Like, there's a little story. Yesterday, I finally got my shoulders for my set piece from Mythic Thogar. Alright, I was not lucky with them, and I wanted them because they look cool, you know, with the little flappy wings for druids. And instead of being happy, I click on the token and it gives me the item. But it's not Warforged, it does not have a gem socket, it does not have a tertiary stat. So instead of going, woohoo, I got my mythic set piece, I went, fucking hell, this piece of shite does not have a hole in it, it's useless. You know, so what's going on? You know, Blizzard, you are just making it even worse. You're going from bad to worse. I have a sneaking suspicion that this has something to do with the LFR. Maybe. Because you start off with the first wing, which will give you this loot, then the next wing of LFR will give you slightly better loot, and then slightly better loot, and then you do Archimond, which will give you the best loot. So maybe they want LFR to feel like some sort of a progression as you're going from one wing to another, maybe? But the thing is, LFR in Warlords is so bad, like, the bosses aren't doing anything, and even people who enjoyed LFR in Mists of Pandaria and were sort of raiding LFR are now saying things like, well, this is just bad, this is not fun, these bosses aren't doing anything, I'm just drooling my way to loot. Like, why would I do this? This is just not fun. I just don't understand. I don't know why they're doing this. They must know that this is not a good change. They can't be that stupid, right? I just don't know. And the fact that if you do normal mode and you kill Archimond, then the bosses you do after that, which is heroic, will drop worse loot than Archimond. Like, what? I just do not understand why they are doing this. Why is this? I just don't know what's going on. I just don't.